So our next friend who's joining us is another denim buddy from the UK. It's like Rowan, and I've known Rowan, well, goodness me, more than 25 years or so. We went to the same college, like together.
Yeah,
we live only about 10 miles away from each other, so it's quite amusing. We live in the same part of the world. Rowan, if you follow like Rowan, he's been doing a studio garage update for his little house. And yeah, so it's really good. But make sure all of these guys, you find them on Instagram. They've got really great Instagram accounts, and Rowan's got something amazing to present for us. And I'm really excited that he's up with us again. He joined us last year too, so that was an epic presentation. And make sure you go and visit all these old presentations on the Transformers Foundation YouTube. It's all there. Like Rowan gave a great presentation there, but like today, it's something completely different. So I'm going to leave the surprise for like Rowan. He's going to share his screen and take it away, sir.
So here's the title of my talk. Last year I talked about, similar to Sally's, about being a product developer and how things go. But this year is a bit different. And thanks again for inviting me back for a second year. The title of it is Back to Nature for Jeans. This has kind of been inspired by last year with the kind of mass market, fast fashion, everything going to landfill, and all the kind of problems that we have. So it led me on to think about it and see what I could do and learn really from it. So it's all about cotton jeans, and I'm going to try and give you some of the myths of biodegradability. So let me move slides. So who am I? So I'm Rowan. I've worked at quite a few companies in the high street, M&S, Fat Face, Next. Me and Sally have worked in similar places with Fat Face and Debenhams at the time. I've been fortunate to travel around the globe, work in numerous locations, India, Bangladesh, Hong Kong, but in the laundries. Working with all the products, doing finishing techniques, getting to see everything from the top to the bottom. I'm a real geek for details, so I want to know how things work. So if you tell me it works, I want you to show me how it works. And now I work as a sustainability product developer and consultant. Let's get on to where it started. So it started from this image. This is an image actually my friend Janelle, one of our denim friends, sent through. It just kind of blew my mind, like, what's this? It's like a skeleton of a jean. It just kind of blew my mind. So this was actually put on Instagram, May 15th, 2019 by Sean Gormley, who kind enough to let me reference him in the talk. He's concept director of modern business at Wrangler. I asked him more about this. Where's this from? As my natural interest is. He told me it's from Darn Vintage in America. So I reached out to them on Instagram and asked them where it's from. How did you find this? As much information I could get. So they told me it was found in Northern California in a field, a box with other things in here. And it'd been left there for a decade or two. So we're talking 10 to 20 years, this jean's been left. So then, you know, look further, like what's left behind on here? You know, leather is left because, you know, it's not biodegrading. The metal is just rusting. The label, the Wrangler label, I presume it's polyester because it's left. And then it's got all these funny fibers going across, which you'd have to presume it's stretch. So this is actually, yeah, stretch that can't biodegrade. So where, you know, and then the next thing is if that was cotton, like there's no warps left, so which I would have presumed is cotton. So has the cotton gone totally? So I'm going to quickly touch, not too factual, but a couple of interesting things on biodegradability until I get on to the case study. So, you know, how long does it take to biodegrade? A week, a month, 6 months? If it's a fiber, it can biodegrade quicker. If it's twisted, highly twisted, could be longer. If it's compacted into weeds, could be longer than this. I didn't really know. So this is some research I've been looking at and trying to find out a guide, and then I wanted to learn for myself. So landfill excavations. This was sent to me actually by my friends at Lycra. And she sent through, it was a study on myths of biodegradability. So they found newspapers from 40 years that they can get out and they can actually still read it. And you're thinking cotton's a natural, you know, it should biodegrade, it should be gone quick because it's thin and everything. Things like carrots, which are brown on the outside, they're chopping them and then they're orange inside. This is 10 years later. And you think this is organic matter, it should just disintegrate. And then, you know, a bit of meat kind of left on the bones, 20-year-old kind of steaks left over. So actually, you know, landfills aren't putting it in, burying it, letting it biodegrade, and then it disappears and the landfill's gone. It's mummifying things. So it's taking all the oxygen, all the moisture out and compacting it and keeping it. So I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And then further research, I found some things on Fashion Revolution 2018 on their Instagram. So Merino wool, Merino's natural as well. So 9 months, I thought that's quite cool. Lycra sporting clothing, we know it takes a long time to biodegrade synthetics. This is 20 to 200 years, which is phenomenal. And then a denim jacket with 10 to 12 months. So I was like, this is cool. So this is where it kind of led me on thinking, you know, how could I do it? And then just to touch aerobic, anaerobic, one with oxygen, one without oxygen. With oxygen, it's a lot quicker to biodegrade, in summary. So this is where it all started. I got this jean in Bangladesh on a trip, actually. Finished it with some metal work, and I was going to wear this jean. I kept it in my cupboard for a long time, and then I wasn't going to, you know, I didn't get around to wear it. So I thought, you know, let's do an experiment with it. So top right-hand corner is my garden. So I was thinking, you know, what can I do? Let's do a test and see if this does biodegrade. So the jean is a 13-ounce cotton. It was made in Bangladesh, as I said. It's pre-faded through bleaching. So this is another thing to consider. If this is being bleached with stones and bleach, is there bleach left on there? Will nature want to get close to this, or is this something they don't want to go near? So, and is this going to slow it down? So there's things you have to consider. Jacron patch, which is kind of like a cardboard. So that's what Levi's use. It should biodegrade, I would think. Polyester threads, we know polyester shouldn't biodegrade. So let's see, you know, if it disintegrates or it breaks or anything like this. And then metal shanks. Metal shanks, you see from the other one, it rusts. So I would expect to see them at the end. A couple of things to note. I folded the jean. I got a small garden, so this is why I actually did it. But actually, it worked out nicely to see how this jean biodegraded. And then I planted it under 1 foot of soil. You see, it's quite wet to start with. So I'm super excited when I start this. It's the first week. Going into week 3, I was like, brilliant, let's dig it up. Let's see what's going on. It's wet. It's got some mud on it. Not really doing anything. I put the rainfall and the temperature on here, so you can actually correlate and see actually how it gets saturated, and when the temperature rises, does it, you know, biodegrade quicker? And then every time I'm taking it out, I'm adding oxygen in as well. So I carried on, persevered. Week 7, I like dug it up again. It looks a bit wetter and then brown from the mud. So I just carried on persevering and digging up every time. Week 10, I got excited. I found a worm on it. So I was like, the worms aren't worried, you know, scared of this bleaching agent. So actually nature wants to get close to this. And it wasn't until I got to week 14, every time I was taking it out, I was holding it, I was giving it a pull in the warp and the weft to see if it was starting to come apart at all. It was only in week 14, you see the bottom right-hand corner, it's starting to rip a bit. So I was like, here we go, you know, it's starting to go a bit. Then we get to week 18, I'm pulling it again, you can see it in the center back, it's starting to rip, so it's coming apart, you know, quite easily now. And it's quite interesting, the side seam where it's compacted with a polyester thread, holding it together like 4 layers, it's actually starting to bust out there. So, you know, the polyester stronger than the cotton, so the cotton's just giving up and the polyester staying strong. I don't know, we'll have to see as we go through. Then we move on, week 24, you can see the top right hand image. Actually, where it's all ripped, it's not straight rips anymore. It's actually starting to curve at the edges, which leads me to think that actually things are starting to eat away at the edges, what's left. So the biodegradation is starting. So then the temperature starts to increase a bit here. So 10 degrees starts to go up a bit more. I was super excited when I got this image because the top right, you can see the rips going, where the weft's ripped and it's got a vertical line. You can see a tiny little root that actually started to grow through the jean. So I was like, wow, nature's really taking hold. And then the bottom right image, you can see actually the chain stitching where the polyester is holding strong and the cotton's just giving up, falling apart and just slowly unraveling. And this is, actually, I did a quick video. I did lots of little videos. This is a little bit of a slow-mo so you can get an idea. And I was just holding it gently, just giving it a bit of pull. You can see it's just gone. Like, it's ripping. It looks like it's some kind of synthetics where it's ring spun, but it's actually the cotton because it's been so tightly compacted. As you pull it, it just starts to go and it's gently pulling it. And it just started to pop apart. And I think right at the end, it just suddenly goes like that. So you see it's actually going now. And then from this stage, how long does it take to disappear? Again, week 37, the back pocket is starting to disappear. The belt loops on the bottom right is starting to disintegrate. And this has got like 4 layers compacted in. So the polyester is staying, but the thicker parts are starting to go. And you can see the other side of the jean is actually starting to pick a bit up and busting out of the seams. This has got a different background because I actually had to redo my garden in June. So I had to dig up the jean and then move it a metre or 2 to the right. But this is great timing. The back pocket's starting to slide off. The chain stitch at the top is starting to come off because of polyester, but it's really starting to go. And you can even see on the fold lines on the left-hand image where it's just starting to go on the fold lines. So it's weaker and weaker and weaker. And then these are the cool bits when you get really close to the end. You see it's really starting to fall apart. The back pocket's pretty much gone. And then the bottom right, you're seeing actually small parts of the jean left in the mud as I've taken it out. And the temperature obviously is increasing. It's about 17 degrees at this point. And then week 50, we're almost into a year of biodegrading. I think without the polyester thread, this jean would just be lots of rags I'd have to pin together. So the polyester is actually held the shape together. You can see on the inside bit, actually, where the overlocking is, it's starting to spring out and it looks like it's got more thread than it should have because of the overlocking. The metal work I've blurred out because it's got branding on it, but it looks new. It looks good as new kind of thing. The pocket bags are starting to disappear, so these are cotton. And the bottom right image is my favorite. It's got lots of worms. So I was really happy when worms were there. And this is the last video actually I've got. So you'll see worm obviously in the video. Worms are great. And then just looking at the jean, seeing how the edges are starting to round, how it's all kind of biodegrading, the metalwork's still there. The thicker areas are pulling apart the others and all just falling apart. And it's just like rags held together by polyester thread now, really. So this was week 54, how I counted it, but this is a year. So this is what the G looks like. The best part of this one for me was the top right image. So I was looking for the back pocket and I couldn't find it anywhere. Then I found some of these threads and then there's two chunks in the corner. So when I first put it on, it was sideways and I was like, what are these? And they were the bar tacks. So bar tacks are so compacted, actually, you can see the outline of the pocket with the bar tacks still intact in the corner. So the whole pocket's biodegraded, leaving the polyester thread and the polyester bar tacks holding together some of the cotton left. So this is it. So 1 year, 365 days. This is from this to this, 100% cotton jean. The average temperatures I've got down there and the rainfall, this was amazing learning thing. But now I've got to think, what do I take away from this? What are the lessons learned? So the three lessons I'd say I've taken away: cotton can biodegrade in approximately a year with minimal human influence. Water, temperature, and oxygen are key to the biodegrading process. And metalwork, threads, labels are left over after a year because the metal, the synthetics, that's what's left. So me as a designer, because I'm a designer, I've been studying, I've been a designer 15 years plus. How can I design better jeans? So I'm going to pick out a couple of ideas from this and suggest what I think could be cool. So metalwork. So metalwork was the cleanest. It'd been left for so long. These are available now. People like YKK have these ones. They're screw-on shanks. So literally a Phillips head screwdriver. You put it on, you screw it in, and then when you're done, you unscrew it, and you can put it onto another jacket. You can put it on a bag. You can interchange it. You can swap it with your friends. Whatever you want to do. So if you wanted to biodegrade a jean, then you could unscrew these. Then you can use it for something else, or interchange it with something else. Then the next big thing was polyester. So polyester thread. And why do we use polyester thread? If it's so bad it doesn't biodegrade, it's price. It's price, it's speed, it's everything to do fast fashion. But if it wasn't price, it was planet, that was our primary objective, then what could we look at? So things like linen threads, Levi's used to use these back in the day. New things like Tencel, which is made from wood. Long staple cotton, because the reason we don't use cotton is because cotton isn't strong enough. So actually in the heavy laundering we do, it's going to break the thread first. So actually you get a pair of jeans, you may wear it once, and then the seam will pop open and you'll be taking that back to the store. So it's not viable to do it like this. Or biosynthetics. So biosynthetics that actually can decompose, not just made from bio into a polyester or something like this. So is it actually better to reuse, repurpose, and recycle? I think so. I think the best thing to do for jean is reuse it as many times as you can, eBay it, sell it, move it on. Then after this, so how can you repurpose it into something else? And right at the end, then you could possibly look at things like biodegrading. And then, that could be what we're looking at. I'm going to finish, I'm a little bit over, with further reading. I'm not going to go through it all. These are some of my reference points I use, some of the books, some of the podcasts, which are great to listen to. And from here, the last thing I want to finish with is the further question. So the soil, the next thing is soil. If the bleach is not in the jean anymore, is it in the soil? Can you grow? I would have had some results to show you, but I did two plants, one with soil, one with the soil around the jean, and the cat next door dug it up. So I can't show you that. But other things, the methane gas is another thing. But what if we could harvest it? What if we could have a landfill with biodegrading genes and we could harvest the methane at the same time and it become a byproduct, a product of a byproduct? So then could this be a mass scale? We'd have to consider all the things. Sorry, I'm very quick at talking, but hopefully you got it. Is that okay, Mohsin?
You were superb, dude. Honestly, I had no doubt at all you put it. You've done another superb presentation. All right, I've been using 10 cell thread for a few months now from like Crayfield. Unbelievable, the strength. You know, I've been putting it through its paces, and I'll be doing lots of laser finishes on it soon to double check that. But yeah, there's lots of alternatives of thread and buttons. You're right. If you go to YKK, every major trim solutions, they've got other solutions as well, not just the ones that screw on, but things that pop off, things with rings. You know, the old school buttons used to take rings off. So there are, looking at the past, sometimes there's actually solutions there rather than trying to always reinvent stuff. Let's just check what questions we had. Everyone's just been amazed by your presentation. Even our friend like Nihar is going to be joining us in like a second in a pre-recorded panel. Mind blowing, like Rowan. Big question. On one hand, we're talking about longevity of the product. Where should we go for years and years? We don't keep buying we need to product that's biodegradable as possible, making all biodegradable materials. How do you address this in contradiction? It's a tough one, isn't it? Because
to be honest, I think the best thing, like Jason Denham said it yesterday, you know, is make good product, good quality product that lasts. Like, you know, like you say, Mohsin, look back at the history. The Levi's, why can we still get Levi's from the 50s or 1800s? Because they're made well. They're made well. This is the most sustainable jean you could do. And then, if you can get biodegradable in the end, then great. But I think there's good trial, but I think reusing and repurposing is definitely the way we need to be thinking. Quality product.
So I guess for you, would it be now doing tests on jeans that are being bleached with different chemicals and see how they react to
so actually I was chatting with Miguel about getting this soil tested, like properly tested, see what's left in the soil and see this is me. I want to research. I planted a gene in my mum's yard with lycra in it to see if my gene come out the same as this one that I found. So let's see how this comes out. And I planted hemp around it as well. So then I can see if the hemp wants to grow around it or not. And it's just learning, and the best way to do is learn. And if you can't do these kind of things, ask people.
Absolutely. Question here from Callum: how did the chemicals in the jeans affect the soil around the jeans? You said that worms were going near it, but then all of a sudden it was fine, right? So
it seemed fine, but then if I'm to grow my food there, then I need to know that it's not going to suck up any bleachers and then give it into my food. But this is where the next phase, I'd say, of proper testing the soil and seeing what's left, and do we need to treat it?
Yeah. Another Sanji for saying fantastic. I have a question. Do you consider biodegradable using cellulose enzymes being added to the soil to treat the gene? Water containing cellulose enzymes speed up the process? Probably.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what? Actually, one of my case studies with the Cotton Works, they did an amazing test where they did bleached, unbleached, and softened cotton. They planted it, pulled it up, tested it all, and the softened one speeded it up. So is there things like that, accelerators? Maybe we have a biodegradable gene and then we can put something natural on and then it accelerates it. There's so much. Biomimicry is the next big thing.
You need to get a catalyst that's not harmful either, then you're just doing it better. Is there a way to artificially speed up the process? We've just talked about it. Now, Helen from yesterday has just said, brilliant, Rowan, well done. Hands on the best. What's your experience using organic chemicals? I think someone else has just answered that as well, but I think you kind of answered that. This has been epic, man. You've been done such a great one for us, and it's great for our students to see, you know, the process of how things do disappear. Obviously, you showed us the one that our friend Sean Gormley found, and you know, and that inspires you. So that's amazing. Cool. So thanks to Sean for posting it on Instagram, because we all got to see it. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, thank you so much for your time. I don't think there's any more questions, but you've done brilliantly. Everyone's just saying amazing job, Rowan. You've got lots of amazing comments. So thank you for your time, and see you again hopefully soon.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Brilliant stuff.